So I was able to get a bunch of gaming pickups recently, not only from CCAG, but also some shops locally as well. But just to go over CCAG, it's the Cleveland area. It's the Classic Console and Arcade Gaming Show, and you can see there's a flyer there that shows it off. It happened this past Saturday in the Cleveland area, and had a bunch of really cool stuff there. This one's less of like a convention and more of a gaming swap meet. So there was prize giveaways, a couple of tournaments, but mostly you go here to peruse vendor tables and make purchases. Half of my pickups were actually publications, and I think if you've been following me on the website, you know I've been really on a big magazine kick. But on top of magazines, Good Deal Games booth was there, so able to run into Michael Thomason again, and picked up one of his books. This one called Downright Bizarre Games. It's filled with not like bad games, but just games. They can be bad, but games with really bizarre premises and just kind of weird things in gaming. And he was able to autograph it for me. And also from that booth, we had a couple of comic books, promotional items from trade shows. I had to go with this one, a Final Fight Streetwise comic book. It's a short one, sets up the storyline of the game. So being Final Fight Streetwise, had to pick that one up. And then also one for Fear Effect. And then magazine-wise, been finding a lot of Nintendo Powers around where I live. So I was looking for more of the other publications, but I did find this one was cheap, and even though it said no poster on the cover, it does actually include the poster. But we have a Nintendo Power, the Felix the Cat cover. Outside of that Nintendo Power, we have 2 issues of GamePro magazine. Been a long time since I picked up any GamePro issues, but we have this, the 4th anniversary issue of GamePro. Has Jurassic Park featured on the cover, a lot of stuff about Mortal Kombat, exclusive news about Shaquille O'Neal's upcoming video game, lots of stuff on updates on Street Fighter 2. This is when they were getting set to release Street Fighter 2 Turbo on Super Nintendo Championship Edition on the Sega Genesis, and it even details the PC Engine version that released only in Japan. So I believe this now is the oldest GamePro that I have in my possession. Used to subscribe to GamePro back in the day, but there came a point where my closet filled up with magazines, and my parents made me get rid of all of them, which included a lot of old Nintendo Power and tips and tricks. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, and I'm picking up magazines here and there. And then another GamePro. This one is July 1995, so a lot of stuff about the upcoming Sega Saturn, but this is another thing, sealed the deal. We have the Street Fighter the movie strategy guide free in this issue, so I'm gonna brush up, and it's really just a move list, that's all it is. So but it has a cool little intro graphic to it. So it's kind of a cool section, but at the end of the day, all it is a move list that you could get anywhere else. Been looking for a while, settled on the Super Famicom version because it was pretty cheap. We have Super Donkey Kong Country 3, Super Donkey Kong 3, which would be Donkey Kong Country 3, and I know I have Super Donkey Kong 2, so to get the trilogy for Super Famicom, I think I only need the first game now. And easy pickup for the PlayStation 1-on-1, the fighting basketball game. This one got put on my radar after doing the feature on Official PlayStation Magazine issue number 1, but here's Death Trap Dungeon, and it's published by Eidos, adventure game, and I think when I was looking at this, I'm pretty sure this got reviewed pretty poorly, but when I revisited the coverage for it in OPM issue number 1, it had screenshots of, using swords to fight things like dinosaurs. So I'm like, this game sounds kind of cool on paper, so I think I should find it for myself and give it a shot. And so that's what we're gonna do there. And then a Dreamcast pickup. Not sure why I didn't have this already, but we have Soul Fighter for the Dreamcast. Was able to get this one for a surprisingly low price, and it's complete. Kind of a little bit of a brawler, medieval fantasy type brawler, and it has certain aspects where you can go into first person mode. So definitely want to check this out. I think I've been becoming to be known as the 3DO guy when I go to these Cleveland area gaming events, but one more 3DO pickup, one that I came across videos of earlier this year and wanted to check out. We have a complete copy of Immercenary, so I'm looking forward to playing this one. And this one's I mean, it's fully complete because it has not only does it have the instruction booklet and obviously the disc, but there's all the inserts. There's the warranty card, there is the bonus materials that kind of goes over a bunch of the lore in the game. We have a generic 3DO advertisement. Welcome to the future. 3DO is the future of gaming. And I think this one's specifically for Electronic Arts. Got FIFA International Soccer, Road Rash, Shockwave, John Madden Football, Super Wing Commander. So a bunch of those games. And then the kicker, the final bonus that's inside here, the original Best Buy receipt from when this game was purchased. I mean, this is in super good condition too. I can't believe how good condition this receipt is, but this is purchased from the Elyria Best Buy, and it's dated looks like February 27th in 1997. So this is a receipt that has survived since 1997. So I thought that was very interesting to find inside that. Last time I went, I found that there was a lot of really niche games that I was looking for. This time around, not so much success in finding some of the niche titles that I was looking for. So I gravitated a little bit more toward the couple of booths that produced reproduction games. And this one, I got it on a cartridge. It's a modification of Super Mario Kart, but it's called Hyper Street Kart, and it puts the Street Fighter 2 characters in Super Mario Kart for Super Nintendo. And on top of that, it's not just a character swap, but they've also modded the game to where the tracks are different. They're pretty hard. They're more difficult than they are in the original Super Mario Kart. So it's kind of an interesting thing to where not only are the characters different, but the tracks are remixed as well. Kinds of gives you a little bit more of a challenge. At CCAG, was able to pick up some flyers, so here's kind of some events that will be coming up, and definitely plan on going back to Cleveland Gaming Classic, which is held September 22nd to 24th, and it's at the IX Center in Cleveland, and they're using a different area of the convention center this time around, so it should be a really good event this time around. And this time around also, it's not just a one-day event, it's the entire weekend. So the family enjoyed going to that last year, so we're going to check that out for the weekend this year. And coming up also, we have the Cleveland Pinball and Arcade Show. That's the 8th annual event being held from September 14th to 17th. That one is at the Holiday Inn in Independence, Ohio. So this one I probably won't be able to make it to, but I picked up the flyer. Cool flyer. It sounds like a good event. Just unfortunately, I don't think that one will be in the cards for me this year. And lastly, I actually have never heard of this event before, but we have a Detroit retro video game show that's coming up this one is in Livonia, Michigan, and so I looked it up online. It seems to be, it might be a smaller event at this point, but with the time frame Saturday, November 4th, this one might be doable for me to actually attend. And I noticed that they have the sponsors on there. When my wife and I took our anniversary trip, there's this Retro Taku video games on there. We visited that shop, and it was actually a pretty impressive shop. It's where I got my Mega Drive Rent-A-Hero copy from that shop. and there's a couple of other stores on here on top of the Sparks Pinball Museum. So this could turn out to be a very good show, and it's not that far away from where I live. It's just a little bit more than an hour, so being at that time, I might actually be able to go to that one, so I'll be checking that one out. So overall, CCAG, again, a really fun event. This is, like I said, it's not a convention, it's more of a swap meet where you go there to look at vendors, and you know, it's not so much of going there to play video games and do a variety of activities. It's, again, I think if I had to, like, quote unquote complain about anything about the CCAG, is the A stands for arcade, and for the second time there's like not really anything arcade oriented there, and I suppose that would be mostly up to the vendors to bring that in. But you know, if there were a couple of arcade cabinets there to play or something, that would be kind of neat. But it is what it is, and it's definitely worth the time to drive out to it and check things out. And I got more magazines to pick up and look through, so definitely was worth the time, worth the while to head out there. And the bonus was that the Mega Championship Wrestling show was like half a mile down the road after the event, so it worked out. I got a day full of video games and professional wrestling, so I can't complain.